Oh my god. Warhead and Bloody Bones by Snarl. Let's see.
Featuring loot from The Twilight Zone, The Fly, and other...
Look back up.
Hi, Oddings. It's your Ate Sapphire. Today's story is about an insatiable beast who steals livestock and people at night. If you have an appetite for these types of tales, then you'll love the latest
Okay,
loot tasty item, Loot Fright, featuring loot from The Twilight Zone, The Fly, and other delicious franchises. Loot Fright is a monthly crate featuring exclusive horror apparel and collectibles like this shirt and these tasty items.
Ooh. Hey guys, which of these cookies will you eat? I'll eat clown, because I hate clowns.
From the Season's Cravings crate. Hey, I'm Sapphire. Want to hear something scary?
Of course, that's what we're here for.
Rawhead and Bloody Bones.
Okay.
The following is based on a true story from Lil Mama 85.
Hold on. Let's read the comments. Jim left the chat. Oh, this is my comment. Because I kind of had an early reaction and I didn't record in the reaction. Well, I did record, but the recording wasn't saved. So, yeah. Okay, so my comment. Vote 1, me. Nah, you left Mama in the line. Fine. I don't believe in demons. Jimmy screams. Both. You're fine, Jimmy. Jimmy, am I a joke to you? Okay.
Whose great-grandfather encountered an infamous creature in the Southwest.
Southwest, like somewhere in America, maybe?
My great-grandfather lived until his 93rd year and was sharp even near the end. He lived with me, creature in the Southwest. My great-grandfather lived...
Oh, no, I cannot zoom into the subtitles. My great-grandfather lived in his 93rd year. So, he's 93 years old now. Pretty good. And was sharp even near the end. So, he's about to die.
Until his 93rd year and was sharp even near the end. He lived with me, my parents, and my siblings in the same house that he grew up in.
So
Once the sun was about to set, my parents brought in some of our animals and boarded the windows and doors. They did this every night, ever since I could remember.
Okay.
I decided to ask my great-grandfather about this, and he proceeded to tell me the following story. In the 1930s, my great-grandfather had just been released
Okay, so he's like this.
from prison for making moonshine, and he needed a job to support his family. Luckily, a mining company had recently moved to town and was looking for employees. The new company was a little controversial. Some people didn't think the mountain should be disturbed, but others believed that finding coal was necessary and profitable. The mining company was looking for young men for the blasting crew. The job was incredibly dangerous. The crew would drop black powder or dynamite into the seams of the mountain to create a hole. They would...
Black powder? Now, best you call Godzilla and just to hollow up, you know? Like that thing he did in the movie. Like, yeah, that stuff. Y'all remember?
Would then investigate the holes to look for seams of coal so that the company would know where to open the mines. The risk was high, but so was the pay. So my great-grandfather happily accepted his job offer.
Happily?
On his first day, my great-grandfather followed the crew as they blasted a hole in the mountain. It created a small opening, so Jim, the smallest of the crew, was tasked with going inside. They tied the rope to his waist, and he slowly and carefully crawled into the hole. My great-grandfather was holding and feeding him the rope at the other end.
Okay, feeding him the rope like as if like making him eat it.
Father was holding and feeding him the rope at the other end.
Okay, I know what
Jim descended further and further into the mountain, far enough that they could no longer see his light from the surface. Then the rope stopped. Hey, I think I just heard something growl. That's not possible, right? That's just the mountain settling. You're fine, said Bert, one of the older members of the crew. Keep going. The The rope began to move
Keep
again,
going.
much slower this time.
Oh my god, hold me up. He's gonna get me. Oh my god.
You're fine, Jimmy. Wait, I think he's really in trouble. Keep going. The rope began to move again, much slower this time.
Oh my god, hold me up. He's gonna get me.
Oh my god. Hold me up. It's gonna get me, you guys.
You're fine, Jimmy. Wait,
Look at his face. Do immediately told the future.
I think he's really in trouble, my great-grandfather said, and he began to pull the rope. But it was too heavy, like something was pulling from the other end.
The demon.
Jim's screams continued to echo from inside the mountain.
Ah.
The other crew members grabbed onto the rope and began pulling until they were launched backwards onto the ground. The rope was no longer heavy. They quickly reeled the rope in. There was nothing on the other end, just fresh blood.
Okay, why would you say it like that?
Bert stuck his head into the hole. Oh God, smells like rotting meat. He called out below. Jim? Jim, are you okay? Answer us.
Bozo, did you just hear his screams and the fresh blood? You think he's even still alive?
A deep, bellowing growl responded.
Oh,
Then the sound of digging, growing louder and louder. Oh my God. Run!
Holy.
The crew began to run to the hill and make their way down to where they had parked their truck. Everyone except my great-grandfather.
Okay.
He just had to know what Bert saw. Just one look. One quick look. My great-grandfather said this was one of the biggest regrets in life. He saw something he could never unsee. Something that scared him so badly that he wet himself.
Why would you place the red?
Crawling out of this hole.
What's that? What's that? I'm gonna zoom in straight. All we can see is like a bit of red. Some.
Was something in the shape of a man. Like a man that had
Okay, now it's getting closer. It's getting closer. Dude. Oh.
been skinned and drenched in blood. It had massive horns.
By the time, okay, if your great grandfather was still at the hole by the time it reached the top, he'd probably be like, "Hey, bro, what's going? I ain't your friend
On
right
its
away."
head. He couldn't make anything out about its face except the slits for eyes and razor-sharp teeth where its mouth was supposed to be. It let out a hellish scream, and my great-grandfather booked it back to the truck just as the men were pulling away. He barely made it.
Slowly.
They got back to the mining office, screaming incoherent things at their boss. Okay, everyone, calm down. Now tell me what happened. Where's Jim?
He's dead
In the mountain.
in the mountain. No, it's all in heaven.
Something took him. It looked like the devil himself. Their boss stared at them, thinking carefully about what to do next. Okay, let's go. Take me there. The rest of the crew protested and cried. We'll go back under one condition,
Okay.
my great-grandfather said. We have a group of at least 10 armed men with us.
Why 10? Make it 75.
But they came to the spot where the at least 10 armed men with us.
Make it 75.
2 hours later, my great-grandfather, his boss, and the armed men were making their way back up that mountain trail. After an hour or so, they came to the spot where the crew had parked their truck the first time. They got out and climbed the small hill. At the top, my great-grandfather stopped and pointed to the hole. But now, there was a blood trail leading out of it.
Ooh.
All of the men followed the trail into the nearby trees. The trail turned into a set of footprints, huge prints that were a cross between a bear's and an eagle's. And the prints were headed down the mountain towards the town.
Oh no.
The men ran back to their truck and rushed back to their homes to warn their families of the beast on the loose. Families were instructed to board their windows and bring their livestock indoors. After that day, no one stayed outside at night. It became part of the routine. Bring as many animals as you can inside, board your windows and doors, and pray the beast doesn't get you.
The beast.
So, It's still out there? I asked. My great-grandfather nodded.
We should have left that mountain alone. We unleashed something terrible into the world that day. I don't think I'll ever forgive myself.
I was expecting something. Hold up, Snarl. Let's go to the oldest videos. Welcome to Snarl. Man. So basically Alright. What else should we do? Mexican family cost. I tried to warn you. But they never killed you. What the hell? Wait. Don't blink. Don't blink. I'm not blinking. Everyone, try not to blink. If you blinked, like the video. If you didn't blink through this whole ad, subscribe. I'm not blinking. I'm trying to not blink. I'm not blinking. I'm not blinking. I'm not blinking. I'm not blinking. Okay, I blinked. So
here's the scary thing about home security companies. Most of them trap you with high prices, tricky, complex contracts, and pretty lousy customer support. So, while there are a lot of options out there, there's only one no-brainer. Simply Safe. Members of the Something Scares and cameras would be great for home security of scary. You get free whether you're working from home or listening to. So everyone needs so many earbuds while watching horror movies on my phone. Premium wireless earbuds on the noise isolating fit. The company was co-founded by Ray J. Free reign of the place as long as she. Maria was over. There was a threat lurking when you're not looking. Blink, and you'll miss it coming for you.
okay.
Maria was overjoyed when she had a weekend to herself home alone. Her parents and brother were traveling out of town for a chess tournament, so she had free reign of the place as long as she checked in with Mom every night and morning. Friday night, she stayed up and watched movies alone on the couch. At midnight, the front door sensor rang, alerting her to movement outside. When she walked up to the digital screen to look at who was outside at this hour, no one was there. The only thing she saw was a rimmed hat lying on the ground. For a moment, she swore she saw fingers sliding underneath it. Maybe it was just the light playing tricks on her. Thoughts of the fingers faded away as she leafed through the mail she had collected earlier, and something caught her eye. There was a handwritten postcard addressed to the house's former owner, a Mr. King, the owner of the old hat parlor in town before he had died under mysterious circumstances. It was a thank you note that read, "Dearest Mr. King, your exquisite hat makes me feel like a completely different person. I feel transformed. My Pazuzites will require more of your services soon. With utmost gratitude, Rose." Maria figured that maybe someone stopped by to return one of his creations. In any case, it was too late to go outside. She'd deal with the hat in the morning. In the morning, Maria was awakened by the doorbell. It was her friend Teresa. Maria opened the door to find her wearing the hat on her head. "Did you leave this outside?" Teresa asked, taking the hat off and offering it to Maria. "It's incredible." The hat was unique, but also unsettling. It looked like a magician's hat that you could pull a rabbit out of, but smaller and adorned with a red leather strip. When Maria touched it, the smell of leather hit her and made her stomach drop. She couldn't bear the thought of an animal being used for fashion. Plus, the hat itself just flat out gave her the creeps. "You can have it if you want it," she said, handing it back to her friend. As Teresa put it back on her head, a shadow fell across her
Oh.
face for an instant. In that instant, "You can have it if you want
Let me
it,"
see it.
she said, handing it back to her friend.
That is scary.
As Teresa put it back on her head, a shadow
Ooh, you can see the mouth. All that's closed the mouth. You can't really see the
fell across her face for an instant. In that instant, a shadowed face of a stranger looked back at her. Maria blinked, and her friend looked normal again. The girls spent the whole day lazing around on the living room couch. They binge-watched their favorite shows until it got dark. Teresa's stomach rumbled loudly. It was almost midnight. She looked over at Maria. Her friend was fast asleep. Not wanting to wake her, Teresa went to the kitchen to heat up a small frozen pizza in the microwave. As the timer counted down on her food, the microwave began to flicker. In its dark reflection, Teresa didn't recognize her own face. And as she blinked, her face continued to transform. She felt her mouth begin to stretch. The hat. There was something sinister about the flicker. In its dark reflection, Teresa didn't recognize her own face. And as she blinked, her face continued to
Let me see.
transform. She felt her mouth begin to stretch. The hat. There was something sinister about the hat. Something incredibly wrong with it. Blink. She held her hands to her face. Her fingers were stretched. They were longer. Blink. She felt her eyes begin to protrude bigger and out of their sockets. Blink. She dropped unconscious on the kitchen floor as the microwave timer went off. Maria was jolted awake by the sound. When had it gotten so dark? Groggily, she looked at the clock in the living room. It was already past midnight. The sound of the beeping microwave drew her towards the kitchen. "Teresa?" she called out, but nobody.
Nope, I don't see anything. There's a mirror in front of me and my shin ain't stretching. Okay. But I don't have to
It
have.
was there. The back door was open. The back security monitor lit up as the motion detector went off. Outside, she saw a figure wearing a hat in the distance. The now familiar red strip caught her eye. She stepped outside, semi-shutting the door behind her. "Teresa, hey, your pizza is going to get cold." Blink. Maria blinked, and Teresa was suddenly closer. Under the hat, her face seemed to shift in the shadows. Something was wrong. "Are you okay?" she asked, blinking again. Blink.
I didn't
Her
blink.
gaze fixated on the suddenly
I'm not
horrifying
blinking.
creature in the hat wearing Teresa's clothes. It seemed to shift in the shadow. "Teresa, hey,
Okay,
your pizza
okay,
is
try
going to
not
get
to blink.
cold." Blink. Maria blinked,
blink.
and Teresa was suddenly closer. Under the hat, her face seemed to shift in the shadows. Something was wrong. "Are you okay?" she asked, blinking again. Blink. Her gaze fixated on the suddenly
I did not
horrifying
blink.
creature in the hat wearing Teresa's clothes. It stood frozen with its long fingers stretched out towards her. The same fingers she had glimpsed slipping under the rim of the hat the night before. That postcard. "I feel transformed." Mr. King's hat was the vehicle for this dark creature, and Teresa had become its host. Blink. It was closer, halfway to her. It had no eyes on its face, 2 gaping nostril holes, and 2 rows of sharp, bloody teeth. It was paused in mid-step, but as she blinked, it's in front of her. The creature's frozen smile was wide as it waited for her to blink again. Maria's eyes watered as she tried
No, actually, just take a step back and keep looking at it.
to hold them open, reaching behind her for the doorknob, for the safety of the house. Horrified and trying her best not to shut her eyes, they began to burn, and reflexively she blinked. The creature dug its fingers into her eyes. Without Maria's gaze, it was free to roam, and
I almost blinked.
feed. Neither girl was found the next day. No trace of them. All that remained was the fancy hat with the red strip, sitting patiently by the back door.
Hi, I'm Cece, your personal AI.
Nah, CC, copyright of Siri.
How can I help you?
Copyright infringement.
Hey, my dark darlings. I've really been into getting everything delivered to me lately. A few weeks back, I became a Thrive Market products I got. Organic heavy. Her screen was cracked when she picked it up.
No, not this. Let's choose. Oh, Alan Walker, maybe? Johnny Flash. The wake. Beware of a show. Beware of a song. Flapsy, flopsy, the Scotland. Can you on one death? First story, Demon Box. I think Demon Box. Should we do? No, not Demon Box. I think I will. Oh, I think I remember one from Screams. Murder by Dog.
Hey, I'm Markia. Want to hear something scary?
Yes.
Murder by the Manananga.
Okay.
When you love someone, it's natural to want to protect them. But danger may be closer than you can possibly imagine. If you don't see it coming, you can't be prepared to save them. Like in this story set in the Philippines. Gabriel didn't like having to leave his heavily pregnant wife and son when he traveled for work to Manila. But not only did he have to pay the bills, but he had to pay off.
No. Manila, right? It was spelled Manila. Or maybe it's just spelled another way. Okay. Let's see. Oh, that creaking you say? I was leaving my room.
The huge gambling debt he'd accumulated over the years. His family knew nothing about his secret addiction or the amount of money he owed, and now there would soon be another mouth to feed. He needed to take any work offered to help pay it off.
Okay.
This particular construction job had come without warning, and he had had little time to figure out a sitter. Luckily, he'd found a woman named Ning through an online posting.
Okay.
She said she could look after Josh, and she could also stop by to do the chores. Despite not knowing a thing about her, she reminded him of his grandmother, and he was desperate. She'd appeared at the perfect time. The first day Gabriel was away, Ning picked Josh up from school and made dinner. In the evening, Josh rubbed oil on his mother's feet and helped her to bed, like his dad had instructed him. After tucking her in, he looked back to make sure she was safe and comfortable. He smiled, and he went into his own room to get some rest. Around midnight, Josh was awakened by strange noises coming from his mother's room. He leapt up from his bed to rush to her aid. He swung the door open and was greeted by a terrifying vision.
What?
Peering down at his mother from the ceiling was a horrific-looking creature. Its lower torso seemed to be missing, entrails flapping from where the stomach ended. Sure enough, with a quick dart of his eyes, Josh confirmed the lower half of the body stood in the corner of the room,
Ew, that's
macabrely awaiting reattachment. Huge leathery bat wings kept it afloat, and an enormous elongated tongue protruded from its maw. When it looked at Josh, he had a glimmer of recognition. This thing was Ning, the mysterious sitter. Mom! She heard him and begged for help, and he knew he had to do something before the monster destroyed his mother and unborn sibling. She was weeping and praying for her baby, but seemed unable to move. She's a manananggal. Josh, you must kill her and save your sibling. Josh felt the room sway.
Wait, I kind of wonder this. Whenever, so the mother prayed, right? Pray to God, right? God's not doing anything, also just watching from the sky.
Way as he fought to stay conscious, terror washing over him. Manananggal
Well, I guess God can't save anyone then.
is a creature that during daylight
Oh, I meant God can't save everyone.
looks like a normal human, but when on the hunt, separates from its lower body and grows wings. This allows it to fly and maneuver easily towards its prey. The 4-feet-long proboscis-like tongue was designed with one sole purpose: to suck the blood of pregnant mothers and to suck up the fetus.
Fetus.
Despite his fear, he grabbed his father's baseball bat and began swinging at the beast's wings. It hissed at Josh with vampire-like fangs. He went in to hit it again, but this time it used its massive wing to knock him against the wall, the bat flying under the bed. Josh desperately searched for another weapon, but the monster was back over, tongue extended. She tried to cover her belly, but the creature used its human arms to pin her down. Josh panicked, sensing only one choice left. "Take me instead," he cried out, his voice cracking. "Leave my mom. You can have me, all my blood." "No," sobbed his mom, but the Manananggal was interested. It swung its wing at her face, knocking her out, then swooped over to Josh. Despite his terror, he felt noble, knowing his father would have been proud that he'd sacrificed himself for his mama and the baby. The creature grabbed Joshua by the neck and bit, sinking in its fangs. Blood spilled all over them, splattering the walls, and then threw his body with such force, he smashed through the window, landing outside.
Wait a minute, didn't the mother play? Damn it!
Poor Josh was dead before he hit the ground. The Manananggal lapped up the residual blood, but was unsatisfied.
What?
It extended out its proboscis. Air whistled eagerly into the elongated tubular tongue as the monster headed back to the unconscious mom. As blood soaked the sheets, it took mere moments to suck the fetus out of the navel and swallow it whole, leaving the mother to bleed to death alone. The following morning, just a day after his departure, Gabriel entered his family's home. He walked about the living room, shouting for everyone. He had made a decision he was excited to share. He had postponed the job for now. Despite the pressure to pay the debts, it hadn't felt right to be away. He'd just have to continue hiding his gambling for now and somehow work extra hard once the baby was born. As he put his things down and wondered why no one was answering, he made his way to his wife's bedroom. As he fell to his knees in horror, gasping for air, Ning entered with a basket of laundry. She screamed and dropped it, running to console Gabriel, appearing as shocked as he was at the devastation. The massacre she, the Manananggal, had caused.
Oh my god.
For years after, Ning stayed, practically attached to Gabriel's side, a faithful housekeeper, a doting friend of the family, including when he remarried. And when the happy couple announced they were expecting twins, well, you can imagine Ning's delight.
Oh no. Holy shit. R.I.P. to those siblings. Well, I think that's it. We're gonna be back up. Nope, we're gonna be backing up. Goodbye.